This story takes place in old Persia, where magic and reality walked hand in hand. One summer evening, on the shore of the great pale green Caspian Sea, young Anahita strolled along through the silvery sand in her lovely new slippers. The slippers were a gift from her father, a wealthy merchant who traveled far and wide and brought back to her the most wonderful gifts. Anahita's mother had died when she was just a baby. People often said that she had inherited her mother's lovely green eyes, the color of emeralds, pale skin like the moon, and luxuriant black hair. Now, at 14 years of age, Anahita was known as the most beautiful child in the city of Chaluz. Anahita had servants to see to her every need and desire. This evening, her young servant companion, Setare, walked close by, admiring the lovely stars for which she herself had been named. "An evening of many stars," said Setare softly, "and I am one." Anahita spoke. "Please, Setare, do go and fetch my shawl, for I'd like to gather shells, and the breeze chills me." "Yes, Khanum Anahita, I shall run." Anahita looked at the waves lapping at the shoreline and looked at her lovely new slippers. "I do not wish you to lick my slippers, O great Caspian. I shall remove them from your reach, but do watch over them for me, please," she said. The Deryeye Khazar, the Caspian Sea, was a great sea. He held many mysteries and wonderful treasures beneath his waves and deserved much respect. This Anahita had heard her father say. The sea carried her father away and safely back home again when he traveled upon it. Anahita's father had returned a few weeks before with many gifts for her and for the servants in his care. Her slippers were made of the finest silk and had lovely blue stones called lapis lazuli above the heels. Beautiful pearls in a circular pattern made up the tops, and golden flowers were embroidered on the pale turquoise silk sides. The soles sparkled with silver filigree. "The toes of my slippers turn upwards and point to the moon," said Anahita. She loved the moonlight, for sunlight is bright and hot, but moonlight is serene and soothing. Her mother had named her in honor of the Persian goddess of the moon and night, Anahita. Young Anahita thought she could hear the goddess singing on nights such as these, when the moon was full and luminous. While strolling along the shore, Anahita had collected many pretty shells and even a starfish shell, which she would give to her dear Setare, who loved the stars. Anahita thought of her caretaker as a friend, and although Setare was born a servant, she was treated with love and respect by Anahita and her father, Mahmud Khalil Ozar. Anahita's father had also brought to each of the girls a gorgeous shawl with long fringe around the edges. Although they kept their heads covered, as was the custom, Setare wore her beautiful shawl under her chador, the veil worn by all girls and women, and she knew that she looked beautiful in it. Suddenly, Anahita heard Setare's voice. "Come, Khanum Anahita, your father is calling you." Anahita looked around the white sand. She had walked far away from where she had left her slippers. The moonlight made the sand and the water glisten, but where was the silvery shine of her slippers? Anahita knew she must run quickly when her father called. Although he was a patient man, she never wanted to show disrespect by keeping him waiting. "I'll ask Setare to find my slippers for me," she thought, as she hurried toward the sound of her friend's voice. "Yes, yes, I am coming." The shells made a clicking sound as she hastened along. They were safely wrapped in her chador. Look what I have found for you, Satare, Star of Persia. Thank you, Khanum, said Satare. You are very kind. She took the starfish and tucked it into her waistband. Now, let's hurry home, for your father is making ready to embark upon another journey and wants to see you. The girls arrived, breathless, at the door, which opened to a beautiful courtyard garden, abundant with fragrant, night-blooming, flowering trees. Meanwhile, on the waves of the great Caspian Sea, another lovely young girl was singing softly in the moonlight. This young girl's name was Layla, and she lived under the deep waters of the sea. She was a mermaid, and the great pale green Caspian Sea was her father. Smiling and holding them high in the light of the moon, she gazed wonderingly at a pair of the most beautiful objects she had ever held in her hands. She had seen them sparkling as they floated towards her on the waves. They were rich with pearls, blue stones, shining gold flowers, and silver filigree. Look, Anahita, goddess of the moon, look what I have found. Could this be a gift from you to me? The goddess of the moon, whose name was called with such reverence, said, Yes, my dear, they surely could be my gift to you. Your singing is sweet and soothing to me. Come upon the shore, and I'll tell you a secret. Layla glided gracefully onto the silvery sand and waited. Her mermaid's tail was as beautiful as these strange objects that she held in her hands. It was as if encrusted with sapphires, emeralds, and diamonds. At the end of the tail was a magnificent fan with which she sailed through the water just as swiftly and gracefully as the sea creatures did. The beautiful tail shimmered purple like the sky just before the sun bid his last adieu, and it shone golden coral like the sky when he returned to rise again. Listen, my daughter, said the moon goddess. What you hold in your hands is a great adventure. These are magic slippers that belong to a charming young girl such as yourself, a human girl who knows you in a way, for she has heard you singing in my moonlight. I think she would be glad if you were to return them to her. They are beautiful, are they not? Perhaps you might like to try on the slippers. Oh, yes, they are most beautiful. But, goddess, if these slippers are made for a human girl, they are made for human feet, are they not? Yes, my dear, said the goddess, and if you trust me, they can be yours to borrow, if you choose to accept the gift of adventure. Layla's green eyes widened with excitement, and her heart beat rapidly as the goddess spoke. I would ask 3 things of you if you choose this adventure. First, that you seek the bird with 1,000 eyes and bring 2 of them back to me. Second, that you ride on the back of the shaggy golden beast and bring to me a tuft of his golden hair. Thirdly, that you bring to me a mirror that bears my name. Layla thought for a moment of the adventure before her and the goddess's mysterious requests, then said, Yes, dear mother, I will happily accept your gifts with its 3 provisions. Then, said the goddess, close your eyes and touch the slippers with the tip of your tail. Layla did as she was told, and upon opening her eyes, she stared in amazement at the 2 long, slender legs that had replaced her tail. At the end of each leg was a small, graceful foot, and on each foot a slipper. Oh my, she said worriedly, however will I swim? Never fear, said the goddess. You have taken the slippers and with them the adventure. It's a great gift, my child. Perhaps you too will pass along a great gift. The goddess smiled. She loved Layla, the girl of the sea with the beautiful voice. Being very kind, she would never let harm come to Layla or anyone who loved her. Swirling the clouds around, she created a soft white veil for Layla to wear. You must wrap this around your body and over your head, letting only your eyes show. Layla obeyed and found that the garment was as soft and comfortable as the clouds from which it was made. Now, Layla, go forth and live your adventure. I shall be watching over you. You will see me when evening comes, and I'll advise you if need be. Remember this, Layla. You are of the sea, and water will reclaim you. You must drink it only with your lips, for if it touches your body, you will again have your tail. Layla walked along easily, enjoying the strange sensation of having two legs. She saw the lights of the city of Chaluz and was drawn to the warmth that seemed to emanate from it. This is my adventure, said Layla excitedly. I will find the girl to whom these slippers belong. Perhaps we will become friends. The thought of that made her hurry along. The city seemed alive with voices, music, and color. So much color. The light from many lanterns made everything look strange, yet wonderful. As smells of bread and pastries wafted through the air, Layla became aware that she was very hungry. These aromas were new to her and very delightful as well. Come, Khanum, try my bread and jam, said one of the many women selling food. She eyed the slippers on Layla's feet and decided this must be the wealthy daughter of Aga Mahmud Khalil Azar. One glance into the gorgeous green eyes made her believe that this was true. This must be the most beautiful child in the city of Chaluz. Layla stepped forward and reached out her hand. Ah, Khanum, show me first your father's money, said the shrewd woman loudly. Show me the money of Aga Mahmud Khalil Azar. Just at that very moment, Sitara walked past the bazaar on her way to the shore to find the slippers which Anahita had asked her to retrieve. When she heard the name of her master, she was drawn to the place from which the voice had come. There stood a young girl in a white chador which looked as soft as a cloud. Sitara's eyes were drawn to the silvery soles of the slippers, the very slippers she was looking for. What a shock! There were the gorgeous green eyes of her mistress, Khanum Anahita. Khanum, exclaimed Sitare, what are you doing here? How did you get here so quickly? I left you at home, asleep. Come quickly now, Khanum. We must hurry home. I see that you found your slippers, but you should not have gone to the sea alone. All the way home, Sitara talked and scolded. Layla said nothing but followed along and thought to herself, why does she call me Anahita, goddess of the moon and night? The beautiful garden. At last the two came to a finely carved door set into a high wall. Sitara took a key from under her chador and opened the door. They stepped into a courtyard garden where an abundance of night flowers bloomed. The air was rich with a delicate aroma. Layla breathed in the fragrance and marveled at the beauty around her. Suddenly, she heard the voice of the girl who had brought her here. What is this? My Khanum lies sleeping amid her cushions, and yet she stands behind me? What trick is this? Then the small form amidst the bevy of brightly colored cushions sat upright. Sitare, said the sleepy girl, why do you shout? What is the matter? Meanwhile, Layla, frightened by the commotion, had hidden herself behind a flowering jasmine bush. She stood shivering, and as she did, the silver filigree soles sparkled in the moon's light. There, cried Sitar, there are your slippers, Khanum, but those are not your feet. Who is there? Said Anahita softly. Please come out. No one will harm you. Layla shyly stepped out from her hiding place. Anahita reached out and gently moved the cloud-like veil from the girl's head and face. The luxurious black hair cascaded down over shoulders of pale ivory. Who are you? Asked Anahita. My name is Layla, she said to the two curious faces that stared at her. My father is the great Caspian Sea, and my mother is Anahita, goddess of the moon and the night. I am also Anahita, the young Khanum exclaimed. I was named in honor of the moon goddess who sometimes sings at night. Layla smiled shyly, knowing that it was she herself that this young girl had heard singing. This is all very curious, said young Anahita, but you look very tired and frightened. Please do not be, for you are among friends here. Come, have a bit of tea and some fruit, and you will feel better. Layla happily accepted and enjoyed the wonderful food and drink that was given to her. The night is very warm, said Anahita. The pool is cool and refreshing. Come, let us cool our feet. Layla gazed into the water. Orange and white fish came to the surface to look at her. She smiled and reached into the water to caress one of them with her hand. At that very moment, the slippers flew from her feet, and in the next, her legs were gone, replaced by the lovely emerald and diamond-like tail with the exquisite fan at the end. Oh no, cried Layla. I've broken the one rule that the goddess warned me about. Now, what am I to do? Anahita and Sitara stared in amazement at the tail with the beautiful fan at its end. Seeing their amazement, Layla spoke quickly. The goddess told me never to touch water except to my lips to drink, and now that I have, the change has come upon me. I must slip into the pool, for my tail needs to be in the water. Once in the pool, Layla sighed. Will you please listen to my story? Oh, yes, said the young Anahita. Do tell us. I meant to bring these wonderful slippers back to you, Layla began slowly, for the moon goddess made them magic, and she gave me feet to wear them. Her words tumbled out now as she continued, and I promised her that while I had the slippers and the legs that she gave to me, I would bring 3 things back for her. First of all, I must find the bird with 1,000 eyes and ask him to give me 2 of those eyes. Secondly, I must ride upon the back of the shaggy golden beast, the thought of which frightens me a bit, I must admit. And thirdly, I must take back to my mother goddess a very special mirror. All of these things I promised I would do. The young Anahita looked at this wonderful girl before her who had made these seemingly difficult promises and decided she must help. However, it was late, and it would be dangerous to leave the courtyard now. We must rest, said the young Khanum. When the sun comes up, we will surely know what to do. Stay in the grotto tonight, where you will be safe. Layla smiled at the friendly faces above her. Thank you for your kindness, she said. Under the cool water, the fishes circled around the girl in adoration, for they had never seen such an exquisite tail. My brothers, said Layla, how did you come to be here? Why are you not with your father, the great Caspian Sea? We have no memory of a father or a sea, the fishes replied. We have always lived here. Have you come to live here with us? Only for tonight, said Layla. Tomorrow my great adventure continues. Now, will you come and rest with me? Young Anahita and Sitare looked into the pool where the black hair spread in lovely radiant ripples. How beautiful she is, said Sitara, and how kind to bring your precious slippers back to you. Yes, said Anahita, yes, looking at the nearly forgotten slippers. Then Sitara and her Khanum settled down to rest on their sleeping cushions. What an exciting evening it had been. 1,000 eyes. Soon the morning doves began cooing, and the sun rose as if out of the sea made golden by its rays. Sitare was the first to rise. Then Anahita opened her sleepy eyes and began to say, Sitare, I dreamed a wonderful dream of a girl. Just then, she heard splashing from the pool, and up popped a beautiful head. Oh, oh, it was all true, laughed Anahita happily. Hello, young Anahita, said Layla. Today, I begin my quest. I must find the bird with 1,000 eyes and persuade him to give me 2 of them. Do you know of such a bird? Yes, Layla, I believe I do. He lives here in our garden. He is a regal bird, very proud, and indeed, he has 1,000 eyes. Together we will ask him to favor us with the gift of 2 of them. But first we must dry you and find your legs again. Anahita brought the precious slippers, and Layla raised her tail out of the water, then closed her eyes. Please, Mother Goddess, give me legs again. Look, Layla, cried young Anahita, the magic has happened. You again have legs and feet in the slippers. Layla stepped onto the courtyard floor and into a soft towel. Together they dried her lovely ivory skin and black hair. Satare, said the young Khanum, please bring my new shawl to wrap around Layla. Satare looked in amazement at her young Khanum and at the other, who looked so much the same. Oh my, she said softly. I hope only good comes of this magic, she thought to herself as she hurried to fetch the shawl. When Layla was properly dressed and the lovely shawl wrapped about her, the 2 girls ventured off to find the great bird. Sitara stayed to prepare the tea in the large silver samovar, for now she had 2 Khanums to care for. She smiled at the thought of that. In the courtyard garden, amid the graceful cypress trees, the 2 girls heard the strange cry of the bird of 1,000 eyes. Yow! Yow! There he is, Layla. He sounds like a cat, does he not? Said Anahita. I do not know about cats, said Layla, looking confused. You will learn, Layla. I will teach you, laughed Anahita. Just then, the girls heard a loud rustling, fluttering sound, and an immense fan arose. The most beautiful colors came into view as the bird strutted and swayed its elegant tail. Sure enough, there were 1,000 eyes of blue and green and deepest gold with long fringe at the end of each. How magnificent he is, exclaimed Layla. This is Ala Tavus, whispered Anahita. He thinks himself king of the courtyard. We must be careful not to offend him. Anahita stepped forward humbly. Dear Ala Tavus, how splendid you look today. May I ask a favor of you? Ew, said the peacock. What do you wish of me? Your tail is so very magnificent, the colors so very glorious. My friend and I would be so very honored if you would give us just 2 feathers to use as fans to cool us. You have so many, perhaps you would not miss just 2. Feathers? You refer to my royal plumes as feathers? He squawked as he ruffled up his exquisite fan. Excuse me, said Anahita more humbly than ever. I meant to say plumes, of course. Then, in a very soft, sweet voice, she said, Could you spare 2 small ones? Small ones, he squawked. I have no small ones. They are all large and lustrous. However, I would consider giving you just 2. What will you offer me in return? I will give you whatever you ask, of course, said the young Khanum. The peacock eyed the 2 silly girls. They were identical, and yet one of them was wearing a brilliant red and golden ring on her finger. Because he was a vain individual, he loved beautiful adornments. That ring, he pointed with his beak, that ring would look very fine on my head plume. It would look very much like a crown. Don't you agree? This ring, said Anahita. My dear father gave this ring to me. It belonged to my dear mother. Surely you might ask for something else. Oh, it's that ring I'll have, if you were to pluck out 2 of my precious plumes. Anahita glanced at Layla, her new friend, and slipped the ruby ring off her finger. Now, carefully, very carefully place it down onto my front headdress plume, said the grand bird. Anahita did as she was told. It did look wonderful, and quite like a crown. Now, with the utmost care, take just 2, he squawked. Anahita carefully chose 2 beautiful plumes, not the smallest, and quickly plucked them out. Eow! I hope you'll appreciate what I've done for you, said Aga Tavus as he indignantly strutted away. Now he truly looked like the king of the courtyard. Here they are, Layla, the great blue-green eyes of a great bird of great importance. Both girls giggled quietly behind their hands. Layla took Anahita's hand in her own. Thank you, young Anahita, she said, then kissed the hand where the very precious ring had been. Now, Layla, let us have our tea, said the young Khanum, and we will plan our next task. The plumes swayed in the breeze as the girls made their way back. The samovar with its lovely silver design was waiting for them, along with bowls of pomegranate seeds so red they glistened like jewels. Sitara had prepared bread, cheese, honey, and melon with the pale green fruit cubed into bite-sized pieces. The colors were as tempting as the aromas. Come sit, Khonum Layla, Khonum Anahita. Sit and enjoy your tea, said Sitara. They settled down, each on a cushion of finely embroidered silk, and hungrily, yet delicately, ate the delicious meal set before them. I've never tasted anything so wonderful, said Layla. This golden liquid sings on my tongue. Anahita laughed behind her hand. That is called honey, she said. She was thrilled to watch her new friend enjoying so thoroughly what she herself enjoyed each morning. Sitara, called a deep, strong voice. Where is my daughter? It was Agha Mahmud Khalil's voice. I am making ready for my journey and would like to say goodbye to her. Yes, Agha, she is here. Suddenly Anahita had an idea. Layla, come, let me whisper in your ear, she said. After a few moments, Layla nodded. Both girls then looked at Sitara, who shrugged her shoulders in compliance. Anahita, where are you? I am here, said the sweet voice. Layla stepped forward to greet the father, while Anahita ducked behind a flowering bush so that she would not be seen. The tuft of golden hair. Mahmud Khalil was a handsome man in his beautiful white robe, with trim the color of red rubies and deep blue like a midnight sky. His voice was strong, but his eyes were kind and gentle, with a hint of merriment in them. Anahita, my dear, will you escort me to the walls of the city as I take my leave? You may then ride back with Reza on one of the palace horses. He extended his hand, and she was lifted high above into a lovely carriage, gaily decorated with tassels and fine fabrics, which sat atop the back of a shaggy golden-haired beast. Behind this regal animal was a caravan of similarly dressed animals and decorated palace horses. They made a majestic procession as they proudly walked along, their heads held high. The carriage swayed slightly from side to side as Layla listened to her friend's father. It will not be a long journey, my dear, he said. I will return in 10 days. If all goes well, I will bring you and Sitara a great surprise. How would you like that, my dear? The great surprise was to be a beautiful horse for each girl, horses which he would buy from the king of a neighboring country. It was time they learned to ride. Layla did not know what to say, so she giggled softly and nodded her head. Why so coy today, my daughter?" Mahmoud took her chin in his hand and gently lifted her face to meet his eyes. "Your eyes are so lovely, my child, so like your mother's eyes were." Layla looked into his eyes and saw tears glistening in them. She felt a strange sensation. It was like being happy and sad at the same time. Suddenly, this kind father hugged her to his chest and said, "I love you, my child. You are my most precious treasure." Layla's heart felt very happy at that moment. She thought of her own father, the great pale green Caspian Sea, whose caress was fluid and cool, and of her mother, the goddess of night, and she knew that she also was a precious treasure. When they reached the outskirts of the city, Mahmoud kissed Layla's forehead and handed her down to another finely dressed person, a handsome young man. Her slipper briefly brushed against the side of the shaggy golden shotor, the camel, and a tuft of his hair caught in the silver filigree. "Hello, Anahita Khanum. Remember me? I'm Reza. I take care of your father's palace horses. We will ride back home today on the back of Sia the Magnificent. He is as gentle as he is beautiful." Layla's heart was pounding as they rode. She thought, "I've ridden the back of the shaggy golden beast and have a tuft of his hair, which I will take back to my mother, goddess Anahita. Now I ride the back of a smooth black horse. His head looks like my very own friend Casimir, but Casimir's ride is much smoother since he glides through the waves. A seahorse and a land horse." Layla giggled, thinking of the adventure she was having on this strange land above the waves of her home. Soon they came to the courtyard gate. Sitare was there to meet them. "Hello, Reza, and Khanum Anahita," she said. "Hello to you, Khanum Sitare," said Reza, as he bowed his head to her in a formal greeting, as was the custom. After Reza had ridden away, the three girls sat down. "Tell us, Layla," said young Anahita, "did my father believe that you were I?" "Yes," said Layla. "Your disguise worked, and I believe I have completed my mother's second request. For was it not the shaggy golden beast upon which we traveled? Look, I have here a bit of his golden hair." "Yes," replied Anahita, laughing, "but we call that beast Ara Shotor. That is my father's most beautiful camel." "Tell us, was that not the handsome Reza that brought you back to us?" "Yes," replied Layla, "that is the name he gave." "He is so handsome and kind and gentle with the palace horses," said Tatare. "He should be a prince himself." The younger girls nudged each other and smiled behind their hands as they noticed that Sitara was getting a dreamy look in her eyes. At the very same moment, they both secretly hoped that one day they too would find a prince of their very own. I did not notice how handsome he was," said Layla quickly. The mirror. As the blue veil of night was slowly falling over the city of Chaluz, Layla sat gazing into the still garden pool. "Why do you seem so melancholy, Layla?" asked Anahita. "Are you becoming homesick?" "Homesick," said Layla. "Yes, Anahita, I believe I am." Anahita joined Layla at the edge of the pool where the clear water had grown dark and beautiful. The two girls stared into the pool and at one another. Another face could be seen in the pool. It was the reflection of the moon goddess herself, and she seemed to be smiling. Suddenly Layla turned to young Anahita and said, "Khanum, will you come with me to the great pale green Caspian Sea now, tonight?" "So soon, Layla?" said Anahita sadly. "Aren't you happy here with us?" Please, Anahita, trust me and come. Hurry. She carefully placed the plumes and the golden hair in her wrap. As Sitare was preparing the evening meal, she was not aware of the girls leaving the courtyard garden. So off they ran into the night as the North Star appeared in its place in the sky. As they ran, the silver filigree soles of the slippers on Layla's feet sparkled in the moon's light. Hand in hand, they made their way toward the shore of the great sea until at last they heard the roar of Father Caspian's voice. Look to the sky, young Anahita, and see our goddess for whom you are named, for she is smiling on us, said Layla excitedly. Indeed, the moon goddess Anahita was smiling, for she loved her earthling children. I see, my dear daughter Layla, said the musical voice, you have brought a mirror to me. A beautiful mirror, a reflection of yourself who bears my own name. The young Anahita looked into the dazzling face of the moon goddess, whom she actually saw for the very first time. I am so honored to have been named for you, goddess, she said. The goddess smiled again, her radiant smile. Look, dear mother, said Layla. I bring to you the 2 eyes of the great bird of 1,000 eyes, who is called Tavus, peacock, and the golden hair of the shaggy golden beast, who is called Shotor, camel. Yes, laughed the musical voice of the goddess Anahita. Indeed you have. Young Anahita spoke again. I have heard your beautiful voice singing on nights such as these. The moon goddess laughed merrily. Ah, dear child, that was not my voice you've heard, but that of your sister, Layla. Layla smiled and looked at young Anahita shyly. It's true, Khanum, it was my voice you heard. Just think, said the goddess, a true friend was waiting to be found by both of you, for you have proven your friendship to one another. The wise moon goddess had watched as young Anahita gave up a precious belonging, the ruby ring, for the sake of her friend. I am proud to call both of you my daughters, and now I shall grant the 2 of you a wish, she said. The 2 girls put their heads together and spoke softly to each other. My wish would be, said young Anahita, that I could share Layla's world tonight. Oh, yes, cried Layla. That is my wish, too. Well, my dears, if you've decided, then so it shall be. Layla had ridden on the back of the camel, even though she was afraid. This proved her bravery and her willingness to live her adventure. In listening to Anahita's father, she learned more about human love of father and child, which reminded her that she too was loved and treasured. So it was that the wish was granted. Layla held young Anahita's hand and stepped out of the wonderful slippers. As her toes touched the pale green Caspian Sea, her lovely tail reappeared. Just as quickly, the legs of young Anahita turned into a lovely, sleek tail with a glorious fan at its end. Under the waves they went hand in hand. Breathe deeply, Anahita, said Layla, and as easily as one breathes air, Anahita breathed in and felt the cool serenity of the great Father Caspian Sea. Down they went to Layla's treasure garden, where chests of jewels dazzled Anahita's eyes. This is my garden. Layla's voice was like a melody as she spoke. Tiny bubbles rose from her lips and drifted upwards. What a lovely place, said Anahita. Such wonderful colors, and how peaceful it is. As she said this, bubbles tickled her own lips. The sensation was so strange, yet so wonderful. Let me introduce my friend, said Layla as she picked up a conch shell. She blew into it, and it made a hauntingly beautiful sound. Suddenly 1,000 pieces of gold came fluttering near them. Then hundreds of blue, orange, and purple bits of colored jewels flitted around them. Anahita's eyes grew wide as she saw that these were not jewels at all, but fishes no bigger than coins. "Hello, my friends," Layla said. "I have returned, and with me is my sister, young Anahita." Then thousands of bubbles rose up as the lovely little fish expressed their delight. Layla blew into the shell again, and up from the deep came the most beautiful vision Anahita had ever seen. It was a horse, but not a horse, for it had a beautiful tail with a resplendent fan at its end, much larger than her own. Its mane was silver, like the filigree in the slippers that they had left upon the sand. "This is my dear friend Casimir," said Layla. The seahorse tossed his splendid mane. It seemed to move in slow motion around his face as he nodded to Anahita. "Will you take us riding tonight?" asked Layla. "For this is my dear sister, who lives upon the land, and on this special night has joined us in our realm." Casimir nodded his regal head again, and the girls were swept up onto his back. They held onto his flowing mane as he dove down into the depths of the great sea. There they saw a ship that had met its end, the deck still laden with treasure chests. The ghostly white sails rippled slowly as the three passed by. Deeper and deeper they went until they saw a huge dark shape. Long arms reached out towards them. "Oh dear," cried Anahita, "a frightful monster is upon us." "No," Layla giggled, "that is only Queen Hashte. Hashte means 8. The queen is an octopus. She'll not harm us." The long arms caressed the friends as they went on their way. Down even deeper they went, where shadowy figures slithered and swayed. Now and then bits of gold and silver shimmered. Suddenly, a handsome face came into view. "Look, Layla, a boy stands there." "No, Anahita, he is only the image of a boy, not a real one, for he is a statue carved of stone, though I often pretend that he is alive." Layla sighed deeply. I wish, she spoke softly, almost to herself. The girls heard laughter and singing then, and saw a group of maidens, all with lovely shimmering tails. These were the sea nymphs who guide sailors safely to shore. "Hello, Layla," they chimed, "and who do you have with you?" "Hello to you," replied Layla. Since this adventure was not a secret to share, the girls merely waved at the maidens as Casimir made his way upwards until they could see the light that was the moon goddess. They skimmed over the crest of the waves as the Great Father gently tossed them, 3 white figures in the moon's light. The night passed quickly, as time happily spent seems to do. Soon the goddess called out to them, "Children, come to me and listen." The girls looked up into the loving face. "Anahita, you must leave us now and return to your home, for the sun will surely divulge your secret. Because you have proven yourself a worthy daughter to me, you may come again when I am full and most luminous. Then you may join your friends beneath the sea." Now Layla and Casimir take young Anahita up onto the shore where she can put on her special slippers and her garments. Magically, as Anahita touched the beautiful tail to the toe of one jeweled slipper, her legs reappeared. She dressed quickly and bid her dear friends goodbye. Looking to the moon goddess, who now seemed so pale as the sun's rays were beginning to spread gold over the great sea, Layla said, "Dear Anahita, goddess of the moon, thank you, for this has been the most wonderful adventure." Anahita ran along the now golden sand to where the walls of the city of Chalus began. The bazaar was alive with merchants and those buying their daily fare. She hurried to her courtyard door and, seeing it slightly open, slipped inside where she could smell the lovely aroma of tea and bread. Anahita took off her beautiful slippers and crawled under the quilt and up onto her sleeping cushion. She smiled, remembering the lovely moon goddess, her grand adventure, and her new friends beneath the waves of the great pale green Caspian Sea. Anahita, Sitara's voice rang out. Are you already awake? No, Sitare. I'm very tired this morning. I will sleep a little while longer. There was a lovely full moon last night, Khanum, and thousands of stars. Did you see them? Asked Sitare. Murmured Anahita. Sitare had guessed that the girls had slipped off into the moonlight to play. Staying behind them, she had followed. As she had walked along the silvery sand, she had noticed the slippers, the shawl, and the chador near the shoreline. Being the good protector that she was, she waited all night behind a group of palms until she saw Khanum come out of the sea. She did not see the transformation, for she hurried back home so as not to let Anahita see her. This will be my Khanum's own secret, thought Sitare. Just before drifting off to sleep, Anahita said, Yes, Sitare, I too saw the beautiful full moon and the lovely stars, but none so lovely as you, my friend. The Stone Prince. The very next night of a full and luminous moon, the goddess gazed down at the glistening waves of old Caspian, her great and longtime friend, father of Layla, and all of the other lovely creatures beneath his depths. Softly she said, O great pale green Father Sea, I have a plan. Will you help me with it? The great sea roared a resounding yes. Your wish is my command, dear goddess of the night heavens. The goddess smiled her cool, enchanting smile. I wish to bring life to the Stone Prince who has been residing in your depths for many long years. He is a beautiful image with no essence, and I entertain the idea of giving that most precious gift to him. Our dear daughter Layla has wished for him to be alive, for no other has taken her eye or her heart. So, if by your strong arms you would push him up atop your waves, I shall take these beautiful peacock eyes and this tuft of golden hair, and together we shall bring him into being. Ah, yes, said the great pale green sea, I shall gladly bring the Stone Prince to you. So, by the mighty magic of the two powers, it was accomplished. The Stone Prince was delivered upwards to the lovely face of the goddess of the moon and night. She passed a veil of mist over his face and pressed the blue-green eyes of Agatavus into the sculptor's stone ones. Then she pressed the golden curls of the shotor onto his head. She swirled the veil of mist around and around until the statue spun on the crest of a wave. The cold white color of the Stone Prince turned to a rosy glow as arms and legs began to move in a graceful way, and his body was made buoyant by Father Sea. Come, my son, said the goddess, breathe my sweet night air, fill your lungs with life, and find your voice. Into consciousness the young man came, unafraid, for he was sculpted in the image of a great young hero. He had held the virtues of the hero, within his stone self, and now, with the gift of life, those virtues were released to flow within him. His beating heart was imbued with joy and goodness, and yes, with love. For as he looked around, the first image he saw was a smiling, glowing face, the face of the great goddess. The very next face he saw was that of Layla, sweet and lovely, for she had been pulled towards the mysterious swirling mist. "Who is this, dear mother?" asked Layla. "Some poor sailor lost upon our sea?" Then, as she looked into the blue-green eyes of this handsome young man, she recognized the very eyes that she had brought back to the goddess, the eyes of Agatavus. "He is the stone prince come to life," she exclaimed. "Yes, my dear," said the goddess, "it is he whom you have longed to see become a live being." As the two looked into each other's eyes, a bond was sealed, a bond of friendship and love everlasting. Layla gave the prince the name Varouj. Although he was never to have a sea creature's tail, he could swim as well as any. When the moon was full and luminous, the pair would swim to the shore, where Layla would shed her beautiful tail and magically regain her long, slender legs. Together they would dance on the shimmering, silvery sand, Layla in her cloud-like veil, gracefully dancing as the young Anahita had taught her. The moon goddess speaks. Do you, dear readers, wonder what has become of our young Anahita and Sitare? I, Anahita, goddess of the moon, shall tell you. My namesake, Anahita, has grown into a lovely young woman who is married to a very kind and handsome prince, the son of the king who had sold her father 2 horses. He loves her as she loves him. They live happily in the palatial home of her father, for she did not wish to leave him, nor to be far from the great pale green Caspian Sea, where her sister Layla lives with her prince Varouj. The magic slippers. The magic slippers shimmer in my lovely light as they always have. Friendship, too, like the beautiful slippers, has magic in it and can last forever. Sometimes young Anahita hears Layla singing and steals away to the sea, taking the magic slippers along with her. Together, the ladies stroll along the shore, sharing secrets and stories. Sometimes they plunge into the water, calling out for Casimir to take them riding until they must rise from the waves. For rise they must before the greedy sun spreads his harsh golden light over water and land. It is then that I take my rest. And Sitare? She grew to love Reza, who had always secretly loved her. They married and now both take care of the family home and the people that they love. My blue veil of night covers the sleepy city of Chaluz. However, not all of my earthly children are sleeping, for I am full and luminous this night. Layla and young Anahita have come together again to play beneath the waves of the great pale green Caspian Sea, while on the shore the tall palms whisper and the night jasmine sends its lovely fragrance onto the breeze. Under the dome of many stars, Sitare and Reza turn sleepily to each other and smile. A night of 1,000 stars, says Reza, and you, my dear Sitare, are the most beautiful star of all. Then he whispers, I'll gather up those silver stars and pluck them from the skies to make a necklace shiny bright to please your lovely eyes.